Hey, I come to a conclusion last night there, Trump supporters, fake ass patriots. Look, I was I was up last night doing some thinking, and what I've tried to explain that to you before, y'all. It's this process that you go through when you're trying to figure things out up in your brain bucket, trying to rationalize stuff, trying to, you know, make a decision. It never works, y'all. You never understand. You never understand it. Look, forget it. Anyway, what I did was I came to a conclusion of something, y'all. I was like, what do these people remind me of? And I was scratching my head, and I was like, I've seen this before. I've seen this behavior from people before. Can't quite put my finger on it. And I got to thinking even deep again. That's that thing. Look, anyway, I got going deeper in my brain bucket there, and I was like, y'all remember that movie back in the 1980s that come out called New Jack City? Y'all remember that? It was a good movie. It was about the rise of the crack epidemic, And anyway, I got to thinking about that, and I was like, back in the 1980s, I'm Gen X, and I grew up when Nancy Reagan had a slogan, just say no, is what it was, just say no. And everybody, all the kids in the schools and stuff, we had stickers and stuff like that on our notebooks and our lunch boxes, and they had them all over the schools that said, just say no. And we knew what that was. Say no to drugs is what it was. Just say no. And we said no. A lot of us did. I said no. I said, nope, I ain't doing that, So anyway, I got thinking about it, and what y'all remind me of? Crackheads. That's what you are. You're a bunch of damn crackheads is what you are. I know that might not make no sense to you, but the thing is we all knew that crack was bad for you. It's terrible, It wrecked people's lives. It'd take people's lives, It's just a terrible thing to do, and we knew that, And I remember I was like, well, I ain't never gonna do that. Do some crack, That's horrible. Why would I do that? It's gonna cause me big problems and stuff. And then I remembered that all the way in the 1990s and the 2000s and stuff, I'd run across people that'd be like, old friends or something. All of a sudden I found out they're on the crack, they got on the crack. And I'm like, how does a person do that? We knew just say no. We knew that just say no stuff, and I'm like, it's terrible for you. The havoc that it'll reap on you, it just problem after problem, you don't do that. What in the world would make you just wake up one morning and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smoke me some crack. That's what I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden you're addicted to the stuff, can't stay off of it, and then you become a crackhead. No, that's y'all. You're crackheads. See, the difference is, though, you are addicted to the orange crack. Donald F. and Trump is your orange crack because you can't do without it, He makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside with all your hatefulness and your racisms and all the homophobias and bigotries and all of the stuff, y'all. All the stuff that gives you the warm and fuzzies, You're addicted to it. And that's what happened whenever he got his ass fired back in 2020 and then tried to refuse to leave. How he tried to make himself a dictator then too, But when he was forced to leave, y'all started going through withdrawals, big time withdrawals. That's why y'all went out there and stormed the Capitol and stuff and smeared doo-doo on the walls and erected a gallows on the front lawn and threatened to hang the vice president and all the stuff that you did. That's because you was going through the withdrawals, y'all. It was that orange crack, and you couldn't get your fix anymore. Now, he spent the next 4 years out there just teasing y'all out there in front of the cameras, saying hateful stuff about everybody, saying hateful stuff about America. He's never said a good thing about America, never said a good thing. He just always says mean, hateful things about this country. That's all he ever does. And it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside whenever he does that, because look, crack makes you stupid. It does, y'all. It does. Remember that commercial? This is drugs. And this is your brain on drugs. It's the same thing. It's the crack does that to you. And it ain't just the orange crack. You also got that Republican crack too. Now what that Republican crack does to you makes you stupid. Yeah, it really does. All of it does. But you're addicted to the orange crack real bad. So whenever he got fired, y'all went through the withdrawals, and he'd get out there on the cameras and stuff and say all the hateful things about people, and you got the warm and fuzzies, but you couldn't take that hit like you wanted, couldn't get that hit. It just made you Jones more for the orange crack, And the thing is, it's not even good crack, to be honest with you. It ain't cut with baking soda, it's cut with Cheeto dust. Oh, can you see that? You're doing the cracks that's been cut with Cheeto dust. That's icky crack is what you got. You got icky crack, and you're addicted to it because of the warm and fuzzies. So the thing is, what y'all need is some rehabs. That you need to get up in some rehabs. Now, we could have some universal rehabs, but y'all won't allow that. It's because of the orange crack and the Republican crack. See, because what they do is the Republican crack, they lie to you all the time. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed this about a crackhead. Y'all do the same thing. See, a crackhead, they'll take about 3 steps, and then they'll look over their shoulder. Take 3 more steps, look over their shoulder, because they think somebody's coming for them all the time. There's always a boogeyman, always a boogeyman when you're a crackhead, and that's what y'all are. There's always a boogeyman, and the Fox Faking Newses and those Republicans and your orange crack monster, Donald F. and Trump, tells you about the boogeyman all the time. And that right there gets all of your adrenalines and your cortisols just coursing through your veins, You're addicted to all those chemicals that it causes up in you. And so that's more addictions there to the Republican crack and the orange crack, okay? But see, we could have some universal health cares, but that crack makes you stupid. It does. It makes you dumb. And vote against your own best interest. See, because we could have some universal rehabs for y'all to all go into, but you're convinced that because of the crack, that you want your money to come out of your paycheck and go to shareholders and large insurance companies. Yeah, that's what you want your money to go there rather than that money go to actually provide health care for people and the rehabs that y'all need so bad because of your crack addiction, the orange crack. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I've identified your problem. I have, and y'all need to do something about it. Just say no is what you need to do. See, everybody knows crack does terrible things to you, and you keep going back for the orange crack, knowing that it's bad for you. It's bad for everybody, bad for the whole country. It's terrible. And it ruins your life, just like he's already doing. Jacking up your Medicare prescription prices on you like that, and you can't say nothing about it because then people would realize that, or you might realize that you've got a problem. If you spoke out against it, you'd realize, wait a minute, I might have an orange crack problem. And coming to that realization and admitting that you have a problem is the first step to recovery. It is, and you can take that step. It's just one tiny step. You can take it and get over that crack addiction, because you can look at him and realize that everybody who's got around the orange crack has ruined their lives, just ruined them. Professional people, lawyers and things like that. Look at Rudy Giuliani. He was America's mayor one time, well respected. And he got around the Donald F. and Trump, the orange crack monster, and all of a sudden he got stupid. He got stupid and became just a crazy drunk is what he became. And wound up losing his law license and stuff like that, bankrupted him and everything, ruined him. And now look, the crack monster don't even care about him anymore. He's not up in the White Houses. He's not with him anymore. He just threw him aside. The crack monster got him, Same way with all the other people that's been in the crack monster's orbit. Ruins them. It just ruins them professionally, financially, criminally. People have been serving time and stuff because of the crack monster. The orange one got them, So, and that he's terrible for you. He's terrible for everybody, but you can't stop going back to him, You've got that addiction going on with him because, like I said, the warm and fuzzies, you can't stop. You're like, I can't quit you. You know what I mean? That's who you are. Some broke back crackheads is what you are. Some broke back crackheads. And you've got to stop it. All right. I'm just telling you, I recognize it now. I recognize it. You should recognize. I'm trying to reach out and help you. Okay. That's what I'm doing. I'm reaching out to help you understand that you've got a problem and you're addicted to the orange crack. And like, it's not even the good stuff, y'all. It's not even. It's, like I said, it's not cut with some baking soda or something. It's cut with Cheeto dust. My Lord, y'all. You're doing the orange crack that's cut with Cheeto dust. That's disgusting, okay, in itself. You need to stop it, all right? So anyway, I just wanted to let you know we figured it out. Get yourself some rehabs and get off of that orange crack. It's going to destroy you and everybody else, all right? Inmate Trump.